difficulties of today and tomorrow.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up
and live out the true meaning of its creed.
We hold these truths to be self-evident,
that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slaves owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi,
a state sweltering with the heat
of injustice,
sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice.
I have a dream that little children
will one day live in a nation
where they will not be judged
by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
I have a dream today. I have a dream that
one day, right there in Alabama,
little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands
with little white boys and white girls
as sisters
and brothers. I have a dream today.
This is our hope. This is the faith I go back to the mountain with. With this faith,
we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
With this faith, we'll be able to transform the genuine discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
With this faith, we will be able to work together,
pray together,
to struggle together, go to jail together, to stand up for freedom forever, knowing that we will be free one day.
And I say to you today, my friends, let freedom ring.
From the contiguous hilltops of New Hampshire,
let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York,
let freedom ring. From the mighty Alleghenies of Pennsylvania,
let freedom ring.
From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California, but not only there, let freedom ring. From the Stone Mountain of Georgia, let freedom ring. From Lookout Mountain in Tennessee, let freedom ring. For every hill and molehill in Mississippi,
from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
When we let it rain from every village and hamlet, every state and every city,
we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black man and white man,
Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics,
will be able to join hands and sing,
in the words of the old Negro spiritual,
free at last.
Free at last.
Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Once upon a time, there's a man named Martin Luther King Jr. It's funny to think about because now we know his name so well, but at one time he was just a kid. Like maybe you're a kid watching this. Well, he was a kid too. Well, maybe you're a grown-up. That's okay too. Former kids are welcome here. I don't discriminate. Martin Luther King grew up to be a great man, of course, but things weren't all that great in the world while he was growing up. Not everybody was treated like they were somebody. And I believe that you should treat everybody like it's their birthday. But they didn't do that. People looked at the color of their skin. And that's how they decided if they were friends or not. Not cool, man. That didn't make him feel good. That didn't make anybody feel good. But his parents helped him grow up. He went to church. He learned about love. He grew up to be a minister to help a lot of people. He did all sorts of cool stuff. He helped a lot of people learn about love too. But still, he looked around and said, things should be better. He wanted to change things, so he did stuff. He decided, instead of spreading the hate, he would spread the love. He wanted to bring people together. Where people were hurting, he stepped in to help. He marched with them, he walked with them. He walked arm in arm with everyone. And sometimes it didn't go well, but he kept going. Sometimes he ended up in prison, but he kept going. Some people didn't like him, but he kept going. Some days were hard, but he kept going. Love does that, it just keeps going, even when things are dark. And, well, I don't like this part of the story, but things did get pretty dark. Someone who didn't agree with him shot him. He died in April 1968. Now keep pressing it. Why are you telling us this sad story? Come on. I know. Look, I'm sorry, but it happened. I don't like that happened. Now I gotta tell you something. When things aren't awesome, it can be tough. And things won't always be awesome, but your response can be. Martin Luther King's response? It was awesome. Today I just wanted us to think about this. Isn't it cool that we can change things? Like any of us, anybody. He dreamed and he changed things. And he dreamed and he kept sharing his dreams. They became not just his dream, a lot of people's dream. Like this one. I have a dream that little black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and white girls and become sisters and brothers. That's a pretty good dream. Let's dream like that. That could change things.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when we capitalize, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. might have one of the most recognizable names today, but for the first 5 years of his life, he went by a different one, Michael King Jr. Why the change? Well, his father, Michael King Sr., was a devout pastor who decided to change his own name from Michael King to Martin Luther King in honor of a priest from the 1500s. Since Michael was a junior, his dad decided to officially change his name as well, making young Michael King into Martin Luther King Jr. At just 15 years old, MLK enrolled in Morehouse College, an all-black, all-male school in Atlanta. King graduated at 19 with a degree in sociology and decided to follow in his family's footsteps and join the ministry. This took him to Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania, where apparently his natural skills as an orator were still developing. Poor Martin Luther King Jr. got a C and a C+ in public speaking classes. After graduating from college, King married the love of his life, moved to Alabama, and became a full-time minister. And somewhere along the line, MLK figured out how to give a good speech. For over a decade, Dr. King gave over 2,500 speeches about segregation, racism, and inequality in America, gathering more attention and support as he fought. He became active in the civil rights movement during the 1950s and 60s. He took part in boycotts, led marches, and organized demonstrations protesting the unfair treatment of African Americans. For his efforts, MLK was harassed, surveilled, slandered, and arrested 29 different times. But he was also seen by many as a spokesman and a leader for the American civil rights movement. King's most famous speech is also one of the most well-known in American history, the I Have a Dream speech. He gave the address in August of 1963 at the Lincoln Memorial to a crowd of about 250,000 people, and many more watching at home. The speech became a defining moment of the civil rights movement and has gone down as one of the most iconic speeches in U.S. history. Not too bad for a former C student in public speaking. Martin Luther King Jr. was now the unquestioned face of the civil rights movement.
Let's talk about one of the most powerful documents of the civil rights movement, Letter from a Birmingham Jail. In April of 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested in Birmingham, Alabama for leading nonviolent protests against segregation. While in jail, he wrote a letter, but not just to anyone. He was responding to a group of white ministers who, for their time, would have been considered moderate or even progressive. These ministers, they weren't outright segregationists, but they criticized King's actions as untimely and too extreme. King's response? Well, it turned the tables. He argued that the biggest obstacle to freedom wasn't the KKK or the violent racists, but the so-called white moderates, the one who preferred order over justice, and told Black people to wait for a better time. Letter from a Birmingham jail is a challenge. King reminded us that justice delayed is justice denied, and silence in the face of injustice is not neutrality, it's complicity. And that's why Letter from a Birmingham jail still speaks so powerfully today.
He was imprisoned for 27 years, but his spirit never was. Born in apartheid South Africa, Nelson Mandela faced brutal racial injustice. As a young lawyer and activist, he was arrested for fighting against white supremacy. Locked in a small cell on Robben Island, he endured hard labor and isolation. Yet Mandela emerged not bitter but stronger, ready to unite a divided nation. In 1994, he became South Africa's first Black president, leading with forgiveness, not revenge. True strength is not in how long you suffer, but in how deeply you rise to heal a broken world. Nelson Mandela's journey proves that peace can follow even the longest storm. He was imprisoned for
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against Black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an idea for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if it needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. I have spent a long time in prison and wasted away the most productive years of my life. Those conditions would make any man very bitter and his heart to be full of hate.
Did you feel hated? Did you feel that you were the object of hatred, or were you just a prisoner in an impersonal system carrying out the will of the state?
There was a lot of cruelty which was practiced on myself and my colleagues. There were assaults. I was never assaulted. You must also understand that the warders who worked with us are themselves workers, are themselves human beings with problems, who are also exploited, the victims of the system. And one of our objectives was to ensure that we improve the relations between ourselves and these warders, help them in their own problems. And in that way, you forget about anything that is negative, like hate. You are dealing with human beings and you want to live in peace with these people. You want them also to go and spread the same message to their own people as we want to spread to our own people. And in that situation, it's very difficult to find room for hate. I have